What's happening, everyone? My name is Phil with PrecisionLED.com, and today we have a 2014 Porsche Boxster that we're going to be installing new LED headlights on. These are stock HID, but we have a new product coming on board, and these are D3S LED replacements that are meant to go with an HID ballast in an OEM HID housing. We're going to take these off, retrofit them with these brand new LED bulbs, and see how they look. Let's get started. Alright, the first thing we need to do is get the factory tool out of the pouch. So inside here you have there we go, our own little removal tool, and it has a hex pattern on here, and then you'll see on each side of the headlight, on the interior of the frunk, on this side and then on the opposite side, a little push or a pull tab. Pull this open and you're going to stick this in. You'll make contact with the hex pattern on the other side, and you're going to rotate. Which way? You're going to rotate counterclockwise. And if you can see right here, that is going to force the headlight housing out and release it. And then you can grab the headlight housing and pull it out. Just like that. We're going to remove our wiring harness here. And now we can take this over the workbench and remove the screws here to access the headlight housing on the back. We've got 3 Phillips head screws right here, here, and here. So we'll release those. There's one more screw. Now we can pull back. And you have right here your D3S housing. It's a little warm, so I'm going to use these pliers. I'm just going to release it from the clamp. This little heat shield that we got going on here. And that should pull back just like that. And then we'll take the connector out. There we go. And then we can remove the bulb. Alright, and that's your OEM D3S bulb. Let's go get our LED version. So we've got our D3S replacement LED bulb here, and we want to line these up so the tab that you see here on the OEM is the same as the tab on the replacement LED. Now this one installed this way with the connector facing out. So we're going to flip this LED bulb around and insert it in the same orientation. Alright, so you want to make sure you put down some pressure, and that will allow this clip to come back over the top. And then you'll see on the right and the left hand side these little hooks. You want to push this metal plate until it clips into the hooks. There we go. Alright, hooks on each side are in place. And now we just need to connect this to the OEM connector. There we go. Should only go in one way, like that. And then this ballast can just rest on the side here, tucked out of the way. And all you gotta do is make sure your cover plate goes back in place, and then we screw the 4 screws back in. Alright, now that we have this resealed nice and tight, we're going to put this back in the Porsche, get the Porsche inside our warehouse here, and do some light performance testing. So the reinstall of this headlight housing is a little bit tricky. You'll see there's a tab here that slides right into this slot here and here on both sides. And then this rail, you need to make sure, is at the right angle to accept inside this area here. So I do need to rotate this slightly in this direction, right? So that the indentation is pointing towards us. Then I need to get these rails in, as well as, of course, our power connector installed first. So now that that's in, we need to make sure we insert the rails All right, so I got one rail on this side, rail on the other side. All right, and now I can just push. All right, now you have a good seal, and then when you come around to this side, you're gonna tighten this so it's sealed into place, and you remove the tool. All right, so we're gonna do some simple testing here now that we have one of the LEDs installed. You can see we have the LED D3S here on the right-hand side, the driver's side, and the older OEM HID here on the passenger side. Now, right off the bat, you can tell there's a pure difference in color, right? These have the 6,000 Kelvin kind of cool white vibe, and these are your stock 4300 HIDs, but with about 6 years of mileage on these, so a little bit dimmer and older than when they were new. But right off the bat, I can tell you they look a lot nicer. Looks brighter already, and honestly, the cool white color, I think makes this car look a little bit more modern than the HIDs. So we have here on the other side our low beam headlight pattern, and I've got a lux meter. So we're gonna do some testing here against our beam chart, and we're selecting for now the most general test, points 10 and 11 here on the left and right hand side. Now, point 10 is a good representation of the brightness of the new D3S LED that we just installed on the driver's side. And point 11 is a good representation of the HID, the stock HID bulb on the passenger side. Let's turn this thing on and see what we get. So your stock HID system does about 308 lux at 15 feet. The LED system does about 485 lux. Now that is almost a 55, almost 60% increase in brightness, at least along these 2 points for the new LED system. That's really impressive. I'm super impressed with that. What we're gonna do now, we'll do a full battery test against all the light points along this beam pattern so we can chart them out and record them down. The first thing we're gonna do though, we only wanna test one headlight, right? There's too much light going on here, LED and HID. So if you look over here, I'm gonna cover up the LED side so that it doesn't interfere with our testing. And now when you look at the beam pattern, we only have the HID's light pattern that we're gonna test against. Then we're gonna replace the bulb and test it again with the LED to get your overall increase in brightness against every point on the beam pattern. All right, let's do that.
All right, point 1, 25.
Okay.
Point 2, 34, 33, 34, point 4, 128, 5 is 113.
That looks awesome. Okay, let me go ahead and cover back up this side. And let's restart our light testing with the new LED in place.
Point 1, 42.
42. All right, what we're looking at here is a comparison chart between the 2 sets of readings that we took. And you can see there's a huge increase in performance, especially in some of this zone. So we're looking at 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, and 13, this section right here. And when you look at that chart, that is probably the most important part of the beam pattern where you visually need to have the most light to see down the road. So when you look at this chart, 6, 7, 8, and 9, these are the central zone that is showing you traffic down the road, right? And then 11 and 13 are the right-hand side of the road. So in the US, the right-hand side is more important. That is the distance in front of you. And then a little bit further up, that's where the lighting reflects off of road signs and things like that. The black line above here, which is something we also measured. And then when you look at our chart, the difference in performance here almost doubles in the most important zones. What is that, like 80–90% increase in brightness? That is huge over the HIDs, which are already decently bright. So clearly, based on the data we've taken and the visuals that we've taken in comparison, these are a really good upgrade for your vehicle. HID versus LED, these are almost twice as bright in the most important zones for your lighting performance. And that is honestly an amazing upgrade over those HIDs. We hope you liked the video. Check us out on our website. Check the link in our bio for the product. It'll be up on the website very soon, if not in stock already, for you to try out on your own. Thanks for watching.